Welcome back, grateful daughters. Great to have you here joining us this week again in our series about gratefulness. 70 times 7. Now, if you do that math, that should be about 490, right? In the Bible, Jesus' disciples asked him, "How many times should you forgive?" And he responded, 70 times 7. Anytime I heard that question or even that response, I immediately did the mathematical calculation and I was like, 490 times? That's a lot of times. But when you really think about it, is it really that much of a amount of time to forgive someone? I am reminded of a period of time in my life where I held on to unforgiveness. And as I grew up, I recognized that unforgiveness continued to have its root. Now, you might be wondering, could Shauna be so unforgiving about? Or what is it that Shauna was holding on to so long that she struggled with forgiving? If you listen to one of my earlier posting, I stated that I was adopted. I was adopted at the age of 3 and officially, legalized in that process. But as I was growing up, I considered, why is it that my biological mother would give me up for adoption? Out of all her children, why would she choose to give me up? I immediately began to think something was wrong with me. Something was wrong with my story. Something was wrong with my life that ultimately this person who should be my mom would give me up and not want me. Here comes the enemy with the lies and just really began to settle it in my heart. And the seed of unforgiveness began to bloom. It infected every single thing that I thought and lived in. Unforgiveness. 70 times 7. 70 times 7, I was supposed to forgive this person for making a decision that ultimately impacted my life. 70 times 7. I needed to be able to let go and let God do the work that was needed for me to be able to grow into the grateful daughter that I am today. 70 times 7. I needed to look into her face and say, I forgive you and I love you. 70 times 7. I needed to deal with the understanding that no matter what, God was still in control. 70 times 7. To us, it might seem like a lot, but in actuality, to be honest, we don't even use up 490 times to one person. So unforgiveness. It is merely a poison to our soul. I am grateful today for my mother's decision to give me up for adoption. I am grateful for her decision to cause my life to be able to bloom into what it is today. I am grateful that my heart is free of every possible thought and imagery of hurt and pain that I thought back then would have damaged me. But ultimately, it saved me. It saved me to become a woman that is grateful that God had his handprint upon my life. 70 times 7. I encourage you today, as Jesus did with his disciples, to forgive 70 times 7. not just 7. 70 times 7. You know those individuals who might have hurt you, disappointed you, spoke negatively about you. You know it. You know them. And Jesus is saying through his word, 70 times 7. When you let that go, God is able to come in and create a space where he is able to bloom and develop your heart into a place of love, a place where others are also able to come and seek forgiveness. I encourage you today, let God's love overpower you and let your story bloom into a place of gratitude that ultimately creates a place for him to shine. Remember, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. There is no mistake in what God has done concerning you. There are no faults in God's creation when it comes to your story. So guess what? 70 times 7, grateful daughter, is nothing as you are a part of God's master plan. So I encourage you today, write it down, let it go, forgive, and you will see how God will expand and abundantly develop your life into what he desires it to be. So once again, 70 times 7. I am grateful that God has expanded my heart to a place of forgiveness. Grateful daughters, be blessed, be encouraged, and know that you are ever fearfully and wonderfully made by the true and living God. Be blessed.